to Sarah Stitch. This is my knitting podcast here on YouTube, where I can talk to all of you about today just my knitting plans. Usually every other week I do a podcast format where I go through my finished objects, whips, all of that. But today I'm just doing plans for spring, and this is my place where I can talk about my plans without annoying to death my family, friends, and boyfriend, because I don't have any real life knitting friends. So I mentioned in my last episode I was planning on filming this. I did not. I'm filming it now. It's April 23rd, so hopefully gonna get this out. It's Sunday, so hopefully trying to get it out this evening, and we'll see. But let's get started. So I'm going to say I have two broad categories of plans. Majority of them, which I feel like a lot of people are doing this year, is I want to like kind of clear my needles off, reset and refresh projects. So one of my main goals is to have a lot of my whips finished by the end of the spring. So for those that are new here, I am an accountant, public accountant, and I work in audit, which means that I still have a busy season going on. So hopefully only a few more days of that, and then I can get started on my actual spring knitting. But because I'm about a month late to the game, I'm considering spring until like the end of June. And I will disclaim all of this as I'm overshooting. There's no way I get through all of this. Absolutely no way, because I can't be trusted to just cast on things that don't involve any of this, but that's my disclaimer. So my cleanup things I want to finish, try and get through, are, which I have talked a lot about these in previous episodes, so I'm going to quickly go through them. I have my notebook here, just going to the page. So in no particular order, just this is the order I wrote things out as I was listing this. I would like to finish my Marius body, which this is going to be for my dad at some point whenever I finish, even though it's going to take 1,200 years. I talk about this on my podcast pretty frequently. Drop stitches because I haven't knit on this in a week. I have talked about this on my podcast. I am knitting the Marius number 3 from Sandnes Garn. I am this far into the body, and I'm knitting it out of Cecile by Sandnes Garn as well. Hope that's not backwards for you. And the main body is color 1053, which I believe is like medium gray heather, maybe. I don't know what the real name of it is, because the ball bands only have numbers, but this is where I'm at so far, and I need to get to about, let me drop another stitch, 42 centimeters in depth from underarm to hem. So I think I'm at about, call it a generous 8. Generous 10. I've got a while to go. This is a fingering weight Marius pattern. It is from a Sandnes Garn magazine, which is where I bought the magazine with the yarn at Mother Knitter, which I believe is how Sandnes Garn does most of their patterns. You have to buy the magazine booklet, whatever, with the yarn to get all the patterns in the book, and it was like the men's spring pattern from a few years ago book. But if you're familiar with the Marius, you'll see I have a bit of color work on the bottom, which is not in the original pattern, but my dad wanted color work on the bottom too. So I picked a few of the motifs from the yoke and just brought them down to the bottom of the sweater, and I will also do that on the cuffs. So I would like to get the body done. In theory, I think it's doable, because I think the sleeves will be more summer knitting friendly because they're just sleeves. It's not a full body. And then I can sew them on in the fall, or if there's a cool day or something, then I don't have to have all of this on my lap. And I'm knitting the 107 centimeter bust and using 3.5 millimeter needle, 3.25 millimeter needles for this, which I believe is a 1/4 millimeter larger than the pattern calls for, but my gauge was a little bit off. I started knitting one of the sleeves and my gauge was a little off, so paused on the sleeves, went to the body because the body is going to take 12 years, and went up a needle size. So that is finished project number 1. Finished project number, actually I'll go through the ones that you've seen before quickly. All right, so next, middle of a row. Perfect, great work, Sarah. Let's see if I can knit across this while talking. Nope, cable row. Next thing I would like to finish is my mom's sweater. If you watched my last podcast, you'll know I was knitting a Billy sweater for my mom. It's terribly oversized, like god awful. Like could not, she's never gonna wear it, I'm never gonna wear it. It's way too big for both of us. So I pivoted, I switched patterns. I'm now making the Honeycomb Aran, which is a seamed cable sweater from Line brand. I don't know, there is a designer that designed it. I can't remember her name right now, but it was for Line brand and it's on the website, it's free. And I'm knitting this out of Cascade 220 in the color, don't know, cream. It's just like, they're not white, but sorry, the sun just went down, so the color's gonna be a little meh. But, so this is where I'm at with it right now. I think I need to do about 2 more of these diamond repeats before I get to underarm, raglan, shaping, all of that good stuff, but so far good, going well. I don't hate it as much as I hated the Billy, which is phenomenal because by the end of the, I never finished the Billy. I'm not even close to the end of the Billy, but by about here on the body, I wanted to burn the sweater. Still do want to burn the sweater. I may finish it if my mom really wants it, but for now she's getting this. Maybe she'll get a Billy in the future. But this is for her. So I would like to try and finish this if I can for her by Mother's Day. I don't think that's gonna happen, but like in my head, it could happen. Probably not because I'm a fucking idiot, but in theory, it could happen. Probably won't. We'll see how long it actually takes me to knit one piece and then I can judge from there. But this hasn't been, I haven't been knitting much this week. I've been very busy and stressed, but it hasn't taken as long as I had expected it to, which is good. So my goal is to get, like, in theory, like through a repeat a night would be fab. I don't think that's gonna happen, but like repeat a night would be nice. All right, next up, cumulus. Next, I would like to finish my cumulus. I've talked about this, I feel like, a million times. This is getting knit out of Woolberry Fiber Company in the colors Tidal and Pacific. I need to scan up new cakes, but this is Tidal, this is Pacific. I need to do something about the light. Let me see. All right, I feel like that may be better. I just turned on the ring light, just hoping that works. And now my laptop is going to be making a ton of noise. Oh God. Don't care. Okay. So, Cumulus Tee, not much to talk about there. Talked about it a lot. It's going well. What's that? 3 inches maybe from underarm. So I think I've got about 20 more centimeters to knit. It seems like a lot. 15 centimeters maybe to knit for the body, and then I will have the sleeves. But like I said, I need to cake up my other 2 skeins of Surrey, which is why I have not really been knitting on it that much, because this is currently a tangled mess. All right. Next, these are whips from last spring and summer that I never finished. I don't think they even made it onto the podcast because I hadn't started the podcast at that point yet. So, first thing I would like to finish, actually 3 things that definitely have never been seen on the podcast. First thing I would like to finish, mostly because I think it's the most finished, is this tee. It's inside out, but let's see. That is the color. It is Sewrella Toile. I think it's Toile, T-O-I-L-E. And it is part of her Spring Tonals in stock collection, which is available right now. And I really, really love this color. And the pattern is Cottagecore Crop by Kate Gardine. And it's going to be like cardigan situation, but like always shut. It has, ooh, did I lose stitches already? That would be very on brand. No, I think we're good. It is a button up, down, whatever you want to call it, shirt. So there's going to be a button band and buttons sewed on, keeping it closed. And then there's going to be a ruffle at the bottom, similar to the sleeve. And I think this is going to be like a really cute office shirt, just because it's casual, but not too casual. But, and it is, I mean, obviously not done, but like an inch or 2 more of the body maybe to go. So that is my next, or my other, oh gosh darn it, there go stitches. This is one of the things I would really like to get done for this spring, so I can wear it throughout the summer. Before it is fall again and I wind up in the same boat I did last summer and never finish it. So that is that. I have almost a full ball of the toile left. I'll put a picture on the website, from their website or Instagram, so you can see what it actually looks like. But that is my cottagecore crop, and now I feel like I'm dim. Next is another Sewrella yarn project. This is not nearly as far along, but also a tee. I have no idea when I started this. Maybe it was 2 summers ago, maybe it was last summer. It is the Rocket Tee by Tanis, I think it's Tanis Lavelli, and I am this far on it. So not super far. I think I'm done with the sleeves. Seems like I bound off. And this is getting knit out of Sewrella again. The color is Scuttle from the Little Mermaid collection. It's this really pretty light gray, almost white, but kind of leaning light gray. And I'm knitting this out of their silk sock base, which is very fun because I've not worked with much silk before. But yeah, I started this, I assume right when I got this, and never clearly finished. I think I needed the needles for something else that was more pressing in my mind at the time, but I would love to have this finished as well, because I feel like this would be another like great work, just t-shirt or just like hanging out t-shirt for the summer. Especially when the increases, like there's eyelets with increases, which is same as the cottagecore crop, but once these block out, I think that'll be really nice feature. And I am helical knitting for this apparently, so I have a ball that probably needs to be rewound. Jeez Louise. And this ball, if I had to guess, I'm knitting both of those on the recommended needle size, because that's what I assume I did. And that's what I'm going to do and hope it works. But these are the tees, and the Grocery Girls are having a t-shirt cowl, which I'm going to use these to participate in. Next, already started item that I would like to have done. Oh, second. I also want to finish my Feel Good shawl, which I talked about in my last podcast. I'm using the Wandering Flock. I bought a kit from them last year when the pattern was released. The pattern is by Andrea Mallory, and I would like to finish that. But we'll see if I actually do. That's my quick rundown because I talked about it in my last episode. This I have never talked about. This is going to be camisole number, what number are you? 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. All I have done is the back so far. I started knitting this last August while I was away for a work conference, and I never picked it up again. I am knitting it out of Magpie Fibers Swanky Sock in Pass the Dutchie. Please focus on the yarn. Here we go. I know we're all shocked. Sarah using green, more green. I'm also shocked. I didn't see it coming at all. It's currently living in my basket of green yarns. But so I started the back, and I got to, I believe, the underarm. Yeah, that seems underarmy section. So I need to do the front, and then I will just be knitting in the round. This is, I don't even know which side's the front and the back. It's terrible, isn't it? Okay, I think this is the right side. It's essentially just knit in broken rib. And this is the one that has the thicker straps. So a little bit more work and office appropriate, which is nice. And such a fun color. Does not look good right here, but it's more that color, I promise. And I don't know, did I say the colorway? Pass the Dutchie by Magpie Fibers on Swanky Sock. All right, next. Is that everything? Oh, and then my other clearing the needles life game plan is socks. Got a lot of single socks floating around, a lot of half-started second socks floating around. So I would like to finish 4 single socks to finish out my sets. I have a pair of scrappy stripy socks I started last fall with Sewrella fall tonals. The minis are all the stripes, and then I had one skein of one of the fall tonals in a big skein, so that's the main color. I have Spice Cider socks from Homespun House. Those are actually almost done. I think they need like 12 more rows and then a toe, so there is absolutely no reason I can't finish those. I want to finish the Moores Hill socks, which I'm knitting out of Arnie and Carlos Regia Lofoten yarn that I got from Yarnia. The pattern is by Inga from Knitting Traditions. I believe at the heel on the second sock, and just need to do the heel, and then I can just knit round and round and round and round. Just haven't done it yet. That is the sock that's next to my bed that hasn't been touched in a while, so I maybe need to switch it out and switch something else up. Excuse me. That's my favorite flavor of Red Bull. I only drink them during busy season because coffee alone is not enough. It's strawberry apricot flavor. So good. Okay, and then my last pair of socks I'd like to finish are my Pretty Song socks, which are the latest socks I've been working on that I showed on the podcast. They are by Summer Lee Knits, the pattern, and I'm using Patreon yarn from a Homespun House for those. So I haven't started the second sock there. I should, I haven't. I did finish the first one though. So that is all of that. Okay, so next, what I want to talk about is what I would like to be making. Like my plans for new cast-ons, haven't touched them yet. Have planned for some of them, and some of them are me going a bit rogue. Not rogue, but just not in the normal plan. So the first item I would like to do, where did that yarn skein go? Can you tell I'm very organized right now? Oh, found it. So the first thing I've been planning the longest is to use, I have two or three skeins of this. This is Woolberry Fiber Sand Dollar. It's from, excuse me, last year's Coastal collection, and the colorway is Sand Dollar, and it's this really pretty beigey tonal, but definitely you can tell there is some variegation of like the phenomenal beige gray that Bethany does. And this is on Berry Natural, and what I want to make with this is a Cecile top by Suzanne Muller, and it's a like, I think it's just like a 4x4 tank, but it looks so. I think Bethany also had this as like one of her inspiration items last year with the Coastal collection when she was talking about it, and I saw it and I was like, perfect. And like, this would be such a good like just neutral tank top for all of the activities. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but my favorite things to wear in the summer, without a doubt, not to work, but like pretty much the rest of the time, are my overalls. I have a pair of short overalls that I love. I wear them all the time. I love the pocket in the front. They're like the perfect bagginess. They don't ride up. Ugh, I love them so much. So a lot of my knitwear for the summer, I'm thinking will work well with both my professional wardrobe and also hopefully my overalls and my shorts and my all of that. So hopefully it works out that way, but that is the plan with this. I also have a few plans for a couple other skeins from the Coastal collection, which I probably will hold off on until the summer because I have 3 more skeins of Pacific, which is the tonal I'm using in my Cumulus blouse. I've already made an Anchors tee out of it, and I have another quantity to make a tank out of it. So I'm gonna hold off on more Pacific until later. But this one, I see no reason with casting on now, or soon, I should say. The next thing I need to go on a journey to get things out of their places because I forgot I wanted to film this today and I put them away, so please hold. All right, I am back and I'm realizing I now have a theme for the spring, which I didn't intend on, but I mentioned in my last podcast that I had done a seasonal color analysis, got my colors done, and that I was going to try and knit on things that were in that realm for the foreseeable future, excluding anything I'd already cast on, and socks don't count, like accessories don't count, I don't think. But like for garments, I was going to try and knit things that were my color season just to see how I felt about them. So I talked about this in my last podcast as well, but I got a couple skeins of knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Dove Blue to make a Kaarina Tee, which is Sari Northen's new pattern. That's a tee with cables on the front and I think the back, and then ribs on the side. So I very much want to make that. I'm probably going to knit it in between the other blue things because there's a lot of blue happening right now, and there will be one more blue thing, but this I'm very excited for. Again, I think it will be a very good work shirt, and just like a casual, lightweight, because it's silk. I think it'll be breathable, good for summer, all that good stuff. So I am excited for this. And then my last blue item before I talk about things I don't have yarn for yet, which is just one thing, is I got this ages ago, like probably 2 years ago, from Mother Knitter right when they opened up their store. And this is Sanus Garn Alpaca Wool, which is, where are you? 65% alpacas, 35% wool. 50 grams is 100 meters, and the colorway is 6052. And it's this really pretty, it's not that purple in real life, it's just a very pretty like medium gray blue. I would say definitely like in the same color family as this in real life, just a bit cooler maybe. And what I'm planning to make with this is probably a bit adventurous, but that's okay. I'm planning on making a cabled vest from a pattern that does not exist. So my mom's family is from Scotland, and before that they were from Ireland, and my mom and I were planning on doing a trip to Scotland this year. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but it may still happen in the fall, we'll see. But we're planning on doing this trip, and when we were talking about it, we were talking about tartan and just clan cables and things like that. And because my last name's Lynch, so there is a Lynch cable, and I have a sweater that was handed down that's a Lynch clan cabled sweater. I said, oh, I wonder if there's a Crawford clan one. And I looked it up, and somehow I found a Crawford cable. There was no sweater or sweater pattern, but there is, which was interesting to me. I assume it's just because it's a smaller clan. I don't know anything about the Crawfords, but like Crawfords in Ireland versus Scotland, I know nothing about them. I know about my Crawfords, which names have been changed since then from marriage, but like I know about my Crawfords. I don't know about the overarching Crawfords. But there was a cable that existed on the internet that was only available for purchase in a scarf or a poncho. And I kind of wanted to get the cable pattern, like buy a sweater pattern that had the cable in it, and then translate it into a vest. That didn't exist. So that has been my, I want to think, but not really want to think project the last few weeks, is kind of charting out the cable, which is a pretty intricate cable, so I can make a vest out of it. And I'm making a vest for myself, which I think this would be a good color for spring or fall, so I'm hoping I can do it in the spring, maybe, hopefully, and then if we wind up going in the fall, or even if we go next spring, I can wear it there. I can see how my mom feels about it. If she wants one, I will make her a full sweater because I love her, and I think I just want a vest. So that is the plan, is kind of test driving it, because the whole plan of it was to make my mom a Crawford Cable sweater. Her mom passed away, my grandma passed away a few years ago in 2019, and she was the Crawford side. So we were both very close with my grandma, and when we go to Scotland, if we go, I should say when, not if, when we go to Scotland, there is distant relatives that live there, and my mom wants to try and find like my her great grandmother's house and stuff, because we know it's still there. So I think it would be cool to have a Crawford sweater when we go to Scotland for her and me. But we'll see how the patterning goes, because I've never made a vest before, and I want to do a V-neck for mine at least. So I'm thinking having like each cable motif, like 2 cable motifs, and then splitting, and then, you know, V-necking. But that requires even more thinking, because you have to like, I think I'm gonna do bottom up, just so I can just get used to the cable for a few inches before I have to figure out how to V-neck, split, and also back. So doing bottom up is the plan, allegedly. But that is all the yarn I have projects for right now. And the last thing I would like to do is I would like to make a Melange sweater by Petite Knit, which I know, shocking, yet another Petite Knit pattern. Although I've only mentioned one so far this episode, in this special. And what I want to do for the Melange sweater is get, I think I'm going to do Sunday by Sadness Garn, get it from Mother Knitter. But what I want to do is to do it in colors I wouldn't typically gravitate towards that are part of my seasonal colors. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do it in like the almond or marzipan, like beigey, light beigey color. More brown than beige, but like the light color. And then the other color I would use is either, oh gosh, the sun's coming out again. Ooh, does this look okay? I can't tell. Let's see. Oh, that's my finger. Sorry, everyone. Should I turn this off? We'll stay how we are. I'm almost done anyway. So the other color I think I want to do is like either a dusty rose or peach, which are colors I would not typically go for in the slightest. Do not love, do not particularly care for, but that I don't know if that's because my whole life everyone has told me don't do peachies pinks because you as a whole are peachy pink, so you don't need more peachy pink, or if I actually just hate the way it looks on me. So that is what I'm planning to do with that. I haven't decided if I'm gonna just get a ball of each, swatch for it, and decide if I like it or not, or if I'm just gonna go head first. And if I hate it, I'll give it to someone. Probably will just buy all the yarn and just see where it goes. But that is the plan. I'll try and take or grab screenshots of the colors I'm thinking, like the color combos I'm thinking. It doesn't seem like it's been one of Petite Knit's more popular pattern releases. I'm not sure why, but I was looking on like Instagram and Ravelry for color combos that other people have done, and I've seen a million that I've loved, mostly which are cream and blue, and I'm trying not to do that. So I saw one that looked similar to what I'm thinking, but that was it. So I don't know if there's just not as much interest being generated for it because it's the summer, or people just don't love the pattern as much as other patterns, but I really like it. I love it. It looks like an old L Bean rag sweater, which I have a million of from my mom that I took from her and said, you're never getting these back, when I was in high school, and she's never gotten them back. So I want to make one of them for myself. But yes, I think that is it. And then I'm sure there will be more socks involved, which I'm not casting any more socks on until I finish at least 2 pairs, is what I'm saying. So I have slightly more sock needles available to use. And also so I'm not overwhelmed with a million single socks and like half started socks. But that is it for my knitting plans for the spring. Let me know how much of that you think I'm actually gonna be able to do in 2 months, because it's not gonna be all of that, but a girl can dream. And let me know what you were knitting on while you were watching, if you were knitting or anything like that, what you were doing if you weren't knitting. And it was great seeing you, and I will see you next week for another podcast. Bye.